Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is November the 8th, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully you're having a good Saturday. I myself am having a good one, but let's not get into Saturday quite yet. Let's wind the clock back. Let's talk about Friday. I took a day off, so let's start off the top and we'll get into it. So, typical Friday, we get up, we wind up getting to work. Work was busy, as of course the whole week has been. I will say it was nice to come in and see, okay, all the buggies are gone, which is good. That means, we're clearing through most of those. There's only a couple, and then there's a lot of skids, which indicates, okay, they've rounded up they're rounding up all the skids in the warehouse, and we're doing those today, and we're catching up. So I was like, awesome, that's great. So apparently overnight, third shift, they got a new pickup, like a new trash, compactor, new dumpster, whatever, and they filled it up. Then we got the next new pickup for the morning on time, and I was just able to get at it, pretty much right at the start of the day. So that was awesome. Very efficient day. I'm curious to see how the weekend is going to go, but I think this was a good sign of initiative from the company saying, okay, we clearly have a problem here. Let's, let's get the resources together to make it happen. And really that's all I need to see to know, like, okay, then we are going to have a overall efficient peak. Like, we're going to have some high days, going to have some low days, but that's how it happens every year. So, it is what it is. Post work, we wind up going to the gym. And I forgot to mention this on Thursday, but I did hit a new PR on the squat and the deadlift. I'm now hitting 335, which felt really good. I'm liking now that I'm not making as fast and big jumps. Essentially just kind of going up 5 pounds. Feels like maybe once a month or so. That's been going really well, and I'm liking that progression so far. And I'm not really focusing so much on the bench press as much. I mean, I'm still doing it. I'm just not increasing on my bench. So, that is what it is. Hopefully we get that going and get that, get where I want to go there, which is 315. But, I'm giving myself till next year to really hit that goal, at least by the end of 2026. But we'll see, knock on wood there. But yeah, we had a good gym session on Friday. We hit all the spots, so that felt good. Post that, I wound up hitting up a friend. We'd kind of been ping-ponging throughout the week, trying to line up, hanging out. And, the theme of the conversation is we want burgers. Then we kind of went back and forth, and then it was later by the time we both got to, actually talking about it seriously on the day we were planning, hey, sometimes that happens, I have different groups of friends, and sometimes it just lines up where it's hey, we pick a day, we know we're going to do it, we get the time. Other times it's a little bit more, how do you say, bohemian, you gotta, oh, are we going to actually do it on the day? Well, we'll find out on the day. So it goes. But, Friday night we go, okay, let's actually go to Roosters. Just because that was the only place that sounded really good when we kind of went through the whole tumbler of options that were available. And I was like, okay, yeah, I know I can get a burger at Roosters. Now, have I had a burger at Roosters? No, I hadn't. So, we're going to get a burger review. So, wound up saying, okay, post gym. Yes, I love to yap. I love to get my podcast in. I love you guys. I missed you guys. But I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So we go to Roosters, and I wind up getting the burger. I ordered the Bob's barbecue bacon cheeseburger. Very yummy. I got it with the works. I'm not sure what else that added to the burger. Because I'm pretty sure it comes with lettuce and onion, red onion. But I got a side of pickles with it so I could put on the burger, which was good. It was really yummy. Barbecue sauce oozing out of the burger. It was a big, hefty burger, which I like. Also, I can tell I'm getting older now because I took one big bite of the burger and I was like, oh yeah, this is going to hit. And then I proceeded to get out the fork and knife and I cut it up. And I was like, okay, wow, I'm embarrassed of myself right now. I'm sure I'm embarrassing the table. I don't care, but like, this is me now. This is me at 35. You're just gonna have to deal with it. Also, it came with an order of wedges, but you could have got curly fries, and I think tots as well. So I went with the wedges. Oh yeah, also I forgot. I got an appetizer of pretzel sticks. Got 2 pretzel sticks with nacho cheese. Those were good. Those were really yummy. I always wish that there's a beer cheese available. But I mean, hey, if the nacho cheese is good, if it's banging, then I'm not complaining. And this was good nacho cheese, so I'll take it. Also, another thing I've realized I noticed, I don't know if this is just a me thing, but I always want, when I order a thing of pretzels, to get at least 3. Like, whether they are small little mini pretzels, like soft baked pretzels or whatever, or they're the sticks, I like at least 3 or more. Granted, I'm not going to say no to 2, especially they're good size, which these were good sized. But whenever I see 2 on the menu, I'm always like, is this going to be worth it? Or is this going to be shitty? Am I going to get ripped off here? I think also like for like $5. Also, the total for that whole meal that I described, $20. Not bad. Not bad for the, in these trying times. Especially when it was all so good. So yeah, I kept the nacho cheese though from the pretzel sticks, and I used them with the potato wedges. All came together. It was so good. It was so yummy. Definitely hit my burger, my burger button, so to speak. So yeah, it was nice to, eat some food, catch up with the homie. It was a vibe. It was a good time. So yeah, that was my Friday night. Then wake up next day. We're talking Saturday now. Saturday is more or less just a chore day. We go do some laundry. Laundry is overall all right. No problems, no hiccups. Then I will say though, I sometimes have this issue with laundry where I do everything right, and I get to the laundromat at promptly when it opens, which is at 8. And unfortunately, maybe I'm 3 minutes, I guess 3 minutes, but after 8. All of the laundry, all the washing machines that I want to use for the amount of laundry I have are taken up. And I'm like, this literally just opened. And the thing is, sometimes they open up maybe about 10 minutes or so before they actually open. But you can't guarantee that. And then, everyone's already queued up, so they just kind of run in there, they get their spots. It is what it is. So I had to wait about maybe 20 minutes or so to actually get my laundry in, but that's not too bad. So, we get in, get the laundry done, post laundry, we're back at the gym, we're hitting the same, the same shit, same numbers. So that was good. I was happy to see that. It wasn't bothering me. My back feels good. No weird soreness or anything like that. So yeah, that has more or less been my day. It's been pretty chill. I did come home and I was just tired, either just from the week in general. As always, I could have slept more. So, I took like a 2-hour nap. So here we are. So yeah, that has been my weekend so far. That's been my Friday and Saturday. So yeah, now that we're all caught up on my Joneses, let's go ahead and do a startup and let's get into some news. While I'm thinking about it, I do want to give an extended shout out to Roosters. Honestly, one of the last solid, stable, sit down restaurants that I can trust that you can get a cheap bite, more or less, a cheap eat. I was comparing my experience to Roosters to my last experience at BW3's, and it really was night and day. Roosters has stayed consistent. And not to mention, what I like about Roosters is the menu is very vast. Their main thing is hot wings. They have really nice sauces, good chicken. But they have the burgers. They have pizza. They had a soup of the day. We're like, what? And I think the soup was a chili, a chicken chili or something like that. But hey, we'll take it. All kinds of stuff. I love when you're hitting damn near an American smorgasbord situation. I'm all for that. We need more of that. Okay, let's embrace tradition. I want a menu that's crazy as fuck, 2 sides, 2-sided. Let's get into it. Let's get crazy. You know what I mean? Don't let Cheesecake Factory have all the fun. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Anyway. All right, our first story comes from CBS News. New U.S. strike on alleged drug boat in Caribbean kills 3 people, bringing campaign's death toll to at least 70. The U.S. forces on Thursday struck another alleged drug trafficking boat in the Caribbean, killing 3 people. Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth said, bringing the death toll from Washington's controversial anti-narcotics campaign to at least 70. The United States began carrying out such strikes, which experts say amount to extrajudicial killings, even if they target known traffickers, in early September, taking aims at vessels in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific. The U.S. strikes have destroyed at least 18 vessels so far, 17 boats, and an alleged narco sub. But Washington is yet to make public any concrete evidence that targets were smuggling narcotics or pose a threat to the United States. So I'm not sure if I missed one in between this one and the last we mentioned on the pod, which is just a sad state of affairs that we are doing it this often. And we've done it like this often in such a short amount of fucking time. I'm sure, unfortunately, I will be back with more of these stories, so I don't really feel the need to really stick on this for too long. But yeah, I definitely want to make note of them whenever I see them. And I mean, God, I really hope that something happens that can intervene, that at least makes this Trump administration say, okay, maybe we shouldn't keep pursuing it this way. You know, maybe this whole little shock and awe tactic that we keep doing is really just bad PR at the end of the day. Because that's the thing with this administration, is it seems like they don't even give a fuck about that shit. You know, they're even more resistant, this time around than last time. They're like, we don't give a fuck about Shane, man. There's no one in the room telling us to stop. For real. We're just going to fucking keep doing it. Or in fact, we're probably going to be worse. Anyway, moving on to NBC News. More than 1,000 flights canceled as FAA reductions take effect. More than 1,000 flights have been canceled as reductions take effect today at 40 high-traffic airports in what officials say is an attempt to relieve pressure amid the record-long government shutdown. And this was updated, November 7th, so yesterday. The Federal Aviation Administrator, FAA, Brian Bedford, has said the unprecedented move is a result of fatigue plaguing air traffic controllers who have been working without pay since the start of the government shutdown, now in its second month. What is it here? Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said today that the end of the government shutdown would not immediately restore air traffic controllers because it would take time for them all to return to work. Now, also, it's worth mentioning that this is like a shutdown, or like the cancellations are taking in effect like in steps or in waves. They're ramping up. So it started at like 4%, then going up to 6% by the 11th, 8% by the 13th, and then 10% by the 14th. So it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, which, sucks because I feel like the closer you get to Thanksgiving, probably the more you're going to have travel. So that's a bit, that's not good. But there has been talks like throughout the week. Like I initially didn't think about this until it was like mentioned, but essentially saying like, hey, this might be a play by the Trump administration to exert pressure on Democrats to say, hey, we know that this transportation, issue is going to only get worse. So let's just exacerbate it. So maybe you'll come and make a deal sooner. I actually don't think it's that. I think that this is actually more what people are saying, like saying, hey, this is a safety thing. We already have this issue. Like we already have people saying, hey, I am not getting a paycheck. You're telling me I have to come to work. No, I'm calling in sick and I'm working a side job. I have to make money. I have to support my fucking family. Like, period. I get that. So I don't think that this is necessarily just the administration trying to pull a fast one. I mean, maybe so. It can totally be possible that it's both. We'll call them A, call them B. But I do think that this is the good call. I think it's the right call to say, hey, we see this is only getting worse and only becoming a problem. And I'm paraphrasing it, but essentially saying, rather than waiting for an emergency to actually happen, let's do something that's actually safe to prevent an emergency. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's the most clear-headed thing that I've heard in a while coming, And I'm sure more like, once again, this is like from the administrator or whatever, from, the actual FAA. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how this, affects things in terms of, how people are going to be getting around and things of that nature. See how this affects, Congress, whether, it brings one side or the other, to the table to actually make, a concession, and, we can get the government shutdown over and done with. I will say this is my first government shutdown actually covering, and it's crazy that this is the longest one. I should know what day we're on, but we have made a record. We have made history. We're in historic times. Isn't that so fun? Every day, every month. Oh wow, isn't this crazy? No, it is crazy, yes, but it's also upsetting. It's also sad. But yeah, I mean, I do think the conversation is really getting to not just is it going to be by Thanksgiving, and it might be is it going beyond Thanksgiving, which is that was beyond my speculation, and I feel like maybe I need to readjust my focus. But I mean, it's just the longer we go here, the more unsustainable this feels. So I would think that the powers that be here have got to come to the table and make something happen. But we'll see. I know that Trump is trying to do anything and everything but tell Republicans to go, go to the table. We've even gotten to the point, too, I guess it's worth mentioning now that I think about it, that Trump wants Republicans to kill the filibuster. So we're so back. We're so back to the conversation, only it's the president, the fucking Republican president saying, yeah, we need to kill the filibuster. And literally it's Republicans saying, no, the fuck, we're not going to do that. Like, there's a strong tendency saying, yeah, we know we're supposed to vote for you, boss. We're not going to do that. Because they don't want that. That's literally what Democrats have wanted for a while now. And I do think this is kind of a both sides conversation where, like, it depends on where you're at, on the day, whether you guys are in power or you're not, how much you value the filibuster, how much you think it's important, or how much you think it's a fucking nuisance. And for Trump, he's like, this is annoying. I don't care. Like, I want to make my historic things happen now. This is my term to do it for sure. I want to hammer it in. Let's kill the filibuster and let me ramrod all of my shit through. Like, I know that sounds crass, but I mean, that's what he wants to do. He knows he has a compliant Congress. He has everything at his disposal. The only thing that's happening, that's getting in the way here, is a bunch of yapping. He could get this fucking, this clean little bill that he'd like to calling it, that gets the government, rolling and gets everything funded. That could happen if you didn't have someone with filibuster. But once again, Democrats have been saying, or at least, I think some on the more progressive end, more further to the left end, are saying, yeah, we don't really want the filibuster. We kind of would like to get rid of it, especially because when we're in power, the Republicans can't use it to kind of float a bunch of bullshit. So, I like I said before, I really am of both ways about it. My true default, if I'm gonna keep it 100p, as kids might say, I think the filibuster makes sense. I think it's a useful tool. I also think that whether you have a filibuster, you don't have a filibuster, like, conservatives are going to find a way to push and bend, even damn near break the rules. They don't care to get what they want done. So who cares? Like, are you playing ball? Are you fucking not? But I do think that it makes sense to keep it. But, hey, I don't know. We'll see what Orange Oda wants and see if he gets it. I don't know. This is supposed to be more or less about the flight delays, cancellations, yada, yada, yada. But, I figured while we're talking about the shutdown, I just say all my shit on it. That at least that I know. All right, let's move on to our next story. From BBC News. More than 50 people injured in blast at mosque in Jakarta school complex. More than 50 people have been injured in explosions during Friday prayers at a mosque in Indonesia, with authorities identifying a 17-year-old student as the suspected perpetrator. The incident happened at around 12:15 local time, inside a school complex that housed a mosque in Kelpa Gading, a district in the capital, Jakarta. The victims, mostly pupils, sustained a range of injuries, including severe burns. The suspect was also hurt, according to Indonesia's police chief, Listo Sigit Prabowo. He added that an investigation into the incident is underway, including how the suspect assembled and carried out the attack. A bomb disposal team was deployed to the state-run high school complex following the explosions to collect evidence and ensure there were no other explosive devices. A pupil at the school alleged to Indonesia's government-owned news agency, Antara, that a homemade bomb had been brought in by a student who had often been bullied by other students. Other pupils told Indonesian news outlets that the suspect was a loner who often made drawings depicting violence and who had been found lying on the ground following the explosion. A cook at the school described seeing white smoke coming from the mosque and broken windows after the massive blast. Excuse me. Our hearts were beating fast. We couldn't breathe, she told the Reuters news agency. A high-ranking Jakarta Metropolitan Police officer confirmed the presence of two objects resembling firearms at the scene. Images from Antara suggesting one of the objects appeared to be a submachine gun, and another looked like a pistol. The submachine gun type object appears to be inscribed on the barrel with 14 words for Agartha. On its body, it says, Britton Trent, welcome to hell. Britton Tarrant. Britton Tarrant is the perpetrator of a 2019 mass shooting at a mosque and Islamic center in Christchurch, New Zealand, that killed 51 and injured dozens of others. A minister who visited the scene on Friday sought to dispel suggestions that weapons were present at the site, telling CNN Indonesia what had been pictured turned out to be a toy gun, not a real gun. Lodwig, and I'm sure I'm getting that wrong because there's like a J in there, but Friedrich Paulus also called on the public not to presume the explosion was a terrorist act, as investigators are combing over the scene. Another object found at the site was a dark green belt for storing gun cartridges. Indonesia has the world's largest Muslim population. So that was a pretty, I'm going to say an explosive story. So I was like, all right, let me go ahead and cover it. And I was like, let me go ahead and just read through it because I feel like the details matter here in terms of just shaping the story, potentially what the motivation, the perpetrator was. So yeah, I mean, if I get any more information on that, I would like to come back and do an update. But I am glad, though, at least in this situation, we're talking injuries, not deaths, not casualties. That's always a good thing. Always take that when you can. But yeah, let me go ahead and take a water break. Actually, let's take a whole last break. Let's go ahead and collect ourselves. We have one more story that I wanted to cover, and then I'll let you go. I will say it's been a foggy weekend since Friday. Just been a thick fog that kind of rolled around. At least for Friday, like pretty much on and off throughout the whole day, it was foggy, and then it was a little foggy this Saturday morning. So kind of pea soupy out there, kind of Silent Hilly out there. And I will say, like, the fog is kind of like the rain. I like it as an aesthetic, sure, but I do not like to actually have to operate in it. Because people drive the worst. It can be annoying. So, yeah, it is what it is, though. All right. Our last story. We got to talk about one of our least favorite people. ABC News. Elon Musk awarded nearly $1 trillion pay package by Tesla's shareholders. Tesla shareholders awarded CEO Elon Musk a pay package on Thursday that could grant the tech entrepreneur nearly $1 trillion in compensation over the next decade. The pay package would make Musk the best compensated CEO ever recorded. Yay, that's so great for him. According to a securities filing in September, Musk would rake in roughly $900 billion over the duration of the agreement. Approval of the compensation package received more than 75% of the shareholder vote, Tesla General Counsel Brandon Earthart said during the shareholder meeting on Thursday. The full compensation would only be delivered if Musk vaults the company from its present value of $1.1 trillion to $8.5 trillion, a figure that exceeds the current combined market values of Meta, Microsoft, and Google parent Alphabet, the filing says. The compensation package also includes a set of production goals, including 1 million robo-taxis in commercial operation and delivery of 1 million humanoid robots over the next 10 years, according to the securities filing. Good fucking luck with that. I will say I'm glad that at least there are some stipulations attached to this pay package. You know, it's just crazy though that the rich just get richer like this. And plus, I'm sure that no matter what, he's still going to get a substantial amount of money, even if this doesn't, he doesn't deliver and come through on these, fucking promises. Also, I'm curious if you guys have seen any of these, like humanoid robots, because they have like started pushing these out like officially now. I can't remember the brand that is putting them out, but they look so fucking creepy. They look worse than Chappie. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but like that's kind of what I picture like when we're talking about like an AI humanoid helper of some sort. And I'm like, okay, that's fucking cool. But you see this thing and it's supposed to be there to like help you throughout a day, like literally be your like a physical assistant, kind of like side companion to like help you throughout a day. Like it can do your dishes, it can do your laundry, and it's like, okay, big if fucking true, but also super fucking expensive if true. I can't remember how much the price was, but it's like thousands of dollars like a month to like rent something like that out. And I think you could buy it for, I can't remember the price of it, but it feels like a very pie in the sky thing. And not to mention that wasn't like a Tesla thing. I remember when Tesla tried to introduce this like at like any of their big unveilings, it turned out it was not actually like the thing. It was like someone talking, through the fucking, machine, kind of like it was like a speaker. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words because I mean, we act like this guy is so integral to making Tesla what it is. But the sad thing is now, yes, like he is. Like I really don't believe that Elon Musk is some kind of fucking genius and he's put any kind of mental intellect, any kind of real brain power that has like made Tesla better. He is a face. He is an idea. Like he's a quote unquote a vibe, and people buy this fucking vibe. People are investing in this vibe. And now he has become so integral to Tesla that without him, they just feel like, well, we wouldn't be where we are. We wouldn't get any further. And like, I guess maybe to a point, yeah, you're right. But like, once again, I'm sure before fucking Elon Musk, Tesla was a company that was doing something cool. They were onto something, yada, yada, yada. That was at least, okay, this is an idea. Then this motherfucker comes through and, it jettisons the company. Awesome, great. But like at so many costs. And I mean, they're willing to pay literally more just to keep this motherfucker around. So, and also too, that this is, I believe, in stock. So it's something that is giving him more and more control over the company. And he says that he wants, I believe at this point he has like 13%. I might be getting that number wrong. It is 13%. He wants enough that he can ensure like more or less steer the company, but he doesn't want too much that he can't be voted out. And I'm like, I mean, this is a cute way of going about this, but I mean, how much is that number? I mean, essentially you're saying, yeah, you can't have half the company, at least in terms of a percentage control or, whatever. But I feel like if you're giving this guy at any given point more than 25%, like that's crazy, because then he can probably have enough influence with other members that he could put pressure on to have more or less that 50%. So I don't know. I mean, we're kind of getting in the weeds here, just kind of talking big business here. But yeah, I mean, long story short, this motherfucker is gonna get $1 trillion fucking package, and that is insano to me. All because he, fucking runs around with a Doge hat, and then he says, "Oh yeah, no, I sleep in the building. So I stay here all day, and I fire a bunch of people, and Yeah, man, company's awesome. Then I post a lot on X, the everything app that bad business purchase I made. Yeah, like what, like it's crazy. This is the guy you're fucking investing in. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't like really any CEO, but like this has got to be damn near one of the worst fucking ones. But I mean, not on paper, not on fucking paper. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have for today. That's the episode. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/AsaiahNews. Become a newsie today. Free ways to help out, or no, free ways to hit me up. Sorry. IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me on any of the socials. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm spacing out here. Follow me on, or subscribe on the YouTube. There we go. We're back. We're back. I'm dialed back in. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts. Wherever you like to listen. You can find me. I was thinking though, what other social medias. I don't often say these, but yeah, I'm on Facebook. I am on X, the Everything app. You can find me on the Instagram, posting the thumbnails. You can interact there. Plenty of places, plenty of spaces. Got a Discord. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, leave a like, leave a cool comment. 5 stars reviews are always appreciated. Sharing's caring. But if you don't do any of that, that's okay. I appreciate you just tuning in and listening. Being consistent with that is always cool, that I always come on here and I don't see a goose egg. It means that, hey, I'm not just putting this out for nobody. Someone is at least picking it up. And I thank you so much for that. It really does mean the world to me. And, but yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.